Good morning, children. Hope you are safe at home. Today we will read a lovely story about Androcles and the lion. You can read along with me, children. Long, long ago, there lived a kind, gentle, and courteous man called Androcles. But he had a very cruel master. So, this is a story about a very kind, loving, and gentle man called Androcles. But Androcles was under a very cruel master. In those days, kings, nobles, and other wealthy men used poor people as their slaves. Androcles was a slave. So, back in the olden days, the rich people like kings, nobles, and other wealthy people used to have people working under them as slaves. These were the poor people who had no home to live and no food to eat, and they were treated very badly. Androcles was a slave just like them. The slaves were forced to do work for their masters. They had to do what their masters told them. They had no freedom, no rights. So, whatever the master used to say, the slave had to do that job. He couldn't say no or refuse to do the job. They had no freedom and they had no rights. They had to live as per the master's rule. Even when they were unhappy with their master, they could not leave him. They were bound by law to obey their master, however wicked he might be. So, back in the days, the slaves had to stay and obey their master. According to the law, they couldn't leave their master and run away. They had to obey their master no matter how rude or cruel he was, and they had to stay with their master forever. Androcles did not like his wicked master. His master starved his slaves and often whipped them. So Androcles did not like his master because he was very cruel and wicked. His master used to not give his slaves food to eat. He used to keep them hungry, starve them, and make them do a lot of work. And he also used to whip them with the whip or belt. So he even beat them up. He was very cruel. Androcles felt that even death was better than serving such a master. So Androcles was so unhappy that he felt it was better to die than serving such a cruel master. He kept looking out for a good opportunity. So he was always looking out for some chance or the other where he could leave his master and run away. At the first chance he got, he escaped from the clutches of his cruel master. So, the first opportunity that he got, he ran away from his master. Now, although Androcles had thus run away, he was not a coward. Coward means a person who is fearful, who gets scared of things. He ran away from his master, but still he wasn't a coward. He was a brave person. He took shelter in a forest. He didn't have any home to run to. So when he ran away, he took shelter means he stayed in the forest all alone. He was not afraid of the wild beasts that roamed in the forest. This shows us that he was not frightened or he was not a coward, as he stayed in the forest without getting scared of the wild animals. He did not mind that he had no roof over his head. So he did not mind that he didn't have a house to stay in. He was happy that he was free as a bird to go wherever he wished. He was not at all unhappy that he didn't have a house and had to stay in the forest. He was more happy that he escaped from his cruel master and now he could do what he wanted and go where he wanted to. So he was free just like a bird flying in the sky. One day, as he was wandering in the forest, wandering means walking around, he suddenly came face to face with a lion. So one day when he was walking around in the forest, suddenly he came in front of a huge lion. His first reaction was to turn and flee. Flee means to run away. So first he thought, I'll turn and run away as fast as I can and escape from this wild lion. But then he saw that the lion had not moved on seeing him. The lion could have jumped on him and tried to eat him up, but he noticed that the lion seen him but did not move at all. It neither growled nor roared. Neither did it make a loud roaring noise on seeing him. In fact, it looked at him piteously as if it was in great pain. Piteously means with pity, to make someone feel sorry. So the lion was looking at him with pity, in a lot of pain. He was trying to tell him something. Androcles paused. So instead of turning and running away, he stopped right there. Then he moved very cautiously towards the lion, step by step. Cautiously means with a lot of caution, very carefully. So he started moving towards the lion very slowly and carefully, one step at a time. The lion moaned and whimpered. Moaned and whimpered means he was crying in pain and said, "Please help me." Its eyes seemed to say. So when he was looking at his eyes, it was like the lion was crying for help to Androcles. When Androcles drew near, means when he came close by to the lion lowered its head and began to lick its paw. Paw is the foot of the lion. So when Androcles came close to the lion put his head down and started licking his paw. Then Androcles saw that the lion's paw was wounded, sore, and swollen. So that means the lion was badly hurt. His paw was wounded and swollen up, and this was the reason that the lion was in so much of pain. On a closer look, Androcles noticed that a big thorn had pierced one of the lion's toes. So when he took a closer look at the lion's paw, he saw that a very big thorn had cut through one of the lion's toes. So this is the cause of the lion's distress, thought Androcles. Distress means the lion's pain. So now Androcles came to know why the lion was in so much of pain and did not move towards him. Summoning up all his courage. This means gathering up all his courage. Androcles stretched his hand slowly towards the injured paw. So Androcles was being brave enough and he slowly put his hand forward to take the lion's paw. He was afraid that the lion would attack him if he touched its swollen paw. But the lion seemed to understand his good intention. So when he put his hand forward, children, he was scared. He thought that the lion will get angry with me and he may attack me. But the lion looked at Androcles and came to know that Androcles was actually trying to help him out. Androcles took the paw in his left hand. Deftly, he pulled out the thorn. So Androcles took the lion's paw in his left hand and very slowly and carefully pulled out the thorn from his toe. Then, tearing a piece of his own clothing, the kind man bound up the lion's injured paw. So you see how kind he was? He did not leave the lion just like that. He tore some of his clothes and used that piece of cloth to wrap the lion's paw up. To his surprise and wonder, the lion then licked his arm as if to show gratitude. Gratitude means to show thankfulness. So the lion was trying to thank Androcles. How? By licking his arm. Androcles remained with the lion till it could walk again. So he didn't leave the lion just like that. He stayed with the lion till the lion became better and could walk again. He would hunt in the forest and share his food with the helpless beast. So whatever food he would hunt for himself, he would share that with the lion because the lion could not run and hunt as he was still in pain. Every day he would clean and dress the lion's wound. So every day he would open up the wound, clean it nicely, and again dress or wrap the wound with the cloth. Soon the lion was able to move about. Soon enough, because Androcles treated the lion so well and took care of his wound, he became all right and soon he could walk about nicely. Many times it followed Androcles wherever he went. So he became friends with Androcles and sometimes he would just follow Androcles wherever he used to go. In the meanwhile, Androcles' master had complained to the authorities that his slave Androcles had run away. So his master had complained about him that he ran away from the master. And as I told you, in olden days, it was against the law to leave your master. So Androcles had actually committed a crime. Soldiers were sent in all directions to capture Androcles. They searched for him high and low, but couldn't find him. So after the master's complaint, Soldiers were sent to search Androcles for punishment. These soldiers searched all places all over but couldn't find him. At last, they came to the forest where Androcles lived. So finally, they reached the forest where Androcles was staying in. It so happened that Androcles had gone out alone that day, while the lion rested near the cave. Both of them fell into the hands of the soldiers. The soldiers took them back to the city. They put Androcles in chains in a prison. The lion was caged. So one day, just when the soldiers were in the forest searching, Androcles was alone and the lion was sleeping near his cave. And to bad luck, the soldiers caught both of them separately. They took Androcles and put him in a prison in chains, and they took the lion and caged him up. Now let's see what happens. In those days, people who were found to be guilty of a serious crime were fed to wild beasts as punishment. Running away from one's master was a very serious crime at that time. Therefore, Androcles too was to be thrown to the wild beasts. So in those days, there was no prison or there was no jail as such. If you were caught guilty or if you had committed a crime in public, you were fed to any wild beast. Here in this case, the wild beast was the lion. So Androcles had to be punished in the same way. He was kept in the prison for some time and soon he would be punished by feeding him to a wild beast. On the appointed day means on the selected day, the emperor arrived at the circus and took his place. So here, this was the place where all the people were going to watch Androcles being fed to the lion. So on that day that was selected, the emperor came and took his place on his throne. The crowds cheered loudly. All the people who had come to watch started cheering loudly and waiting for it to begin. The trumpeters blew the trumpet and Androcles was brought into the arena. So the trumpeters blew the trumpet loudly. This was a sign that Androcles was now to enter the main arena. Arena is the ground where all this was going to happen. His chains were unbound. So now he was opened up and free. He felt weak and dismayed. He felt very weak, tired and sad. He was certain that this was the last day of his life. So he knew that now he would be eaten up by the wild beast and he would be killed. At the opposite end, a gate was raised and a ferocious lion was released into the arena. It had been kept hungry to make it more ferocious. Androcles was filled with fear, but he put up a brave front. So at the opposite end of the arena where Androcles was standing, the gate was opened and a ferocious, dangerous lion was allowed to enter in. This lion was kept hungry for many days so that when he would see Androcles, he would pounce on him and eat him up in hunger. Androcles was scared, but still he put up a brave front because he was not a coward. The lion saw Androcles and rushed towards him, bounding and roaring. So the lion saw Androcles from far, and as he was hungry, he started roaring loudly and running towards Androcles to attack him. But suddenly it stopped in its tracks. Suddenly, as he came closer to Androcles, he started slowing down and was stopping. Then it moved slowly forward. Then it started moving very slowly and walking towards Androcles. All its rage seemed to have melted. Rage means anger. So first he was very hungry and angry, so he was running fast. But as he came closer and seen Androcles, all his anger went away. Androcles saw this too. Each friend recognized the other. So the lion recognized that Androcles was the same man who helped him when he was in pain. And Androcles recognized that this was the same lion who stayed with me in the forest. To everyone's amazement, surprise, the lion bounded towards Androcles again, but when it reached him, it began to purr and rub its nose against him. Androcles hugged the lion. He wept with relief and joy. So when the lion now came towards Androcles, it came and started licking him, playing with him, and rubbing his nose against him. Androcles too was happy to see the lion and hugged him tightly. And he was so happy that he started crying in joy. The audience means the people who were sitting to watch, including the emperor, watched this tender sight in great wonder. So everyone watching this was so surprised to see how the lion and Androcles were hugging each other. People began to cheer Androcles and asked for his release. People were so happy that Androcles was safe and that he was so brave to face the lion that they started clapping and cheering for him and were asking the emperor to release him. The emperor asked Androcles to explain the lion's strange behavior. The emperor wanted to know why the lion did not eat Androcles up. So he asked Androcles to explain what had happened. When he heard the whole story, the emperor was also moved by the gratitude and friendship between man and beast. So Androcles told the emperor the full story about him and the lion. On hearing this, he was very impressed with how man and beast had become friends and were also thankful to each other. He ordered that Androcles should be set free. He would no longer be a slave. So the emperor was happy with Androcles and also listened to the crowd. And he released Androcles and also said that he would no longer be a slave. When the emperor asked Androcles what other reward he would like, Androcles replied that he did not want anything for himself, but he wanted the lion to be set free too. So other than his release, the emperor told him, "What else do you want as a reward or a prize?" So Androcles could be selfish, but he wasn't. He told the emperor, "I don't want anything for myself. I am happy that I am free now. But I also request you to release my friend the lion and set him free in the jungle." So Along with Androcles, even the lion was released. The two friends went back to the forest to live a free life. So both of them returned to the same forest and were free finally. Wasn't that a lovely story, children? The meanings of some of the words are given below. Let's read them. Piteously means in such a way as to cause pity, making Androcles feel sorry for it. Cautiously means very carefully. Whimpered means made unhappy or frightened sounds. Distress means someone in sorrow, suffering, or pain. Summoning up his courage means making a great effort to be brave. Deftly means skillfully and quickly. Arena is a place where sports, entertainment, and other public events take place. And ferocious means fierce. So that was all in today's story, children. I hope you all liked the story. You can read it once again at home and enjoy it. Thank you and have a nice day.